This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrating, available on the zone. When everyone stops doing awful northern impressions, by the way, we can show Junaid this body shot. Sent your man to the shadow realm. Have a little click on that. Go on. I want to see your live reaction to...
Well, there's me in my boxers because I forgot my sports tights. Wait, that's what it says. I'm not really shocked if I'm honest with you. I can't really gas it up. It were a good shot.
It's quite a cold reaction.
It were a good shot, but well, the way I look at it is, I watched him briefly, but when I got told I'm fighting him, and he's very good with his left hand. Well, I say very good. He's heavy-handed and he throws his left hook very unorthodox. So I started off orthodox and I weren't getting my back. Well, I got my jab off, but I weren't getting my backhand off. So I went southpaw sometime in the second, and that kind of took away his left hook as I was, having my right hand, lead hand high. That took away his left. Now every now and then he'll pop on his backhand. I'll shoot it in. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I got it a few times if I'm honest with you, if I remember right. So yeah, good shot. Happy days. 2 stoppages with the left hand in 1 year. Can't complain really. One went to the head, one went to the body. So sweet.
Mate, all the tools in the box. I guess a bit different for you to the Jack Martin fight in April, because going into that fight, there was questions you wanted to answer. You wanted to show how good you were, show the levels between you and Jack. Whereas going into this, you were kind of quite, I say blasé at the press conference, like, look, I'm going to do what I know I can do. And I guess it was shown in your reaction then, where you're like, look, I'm not actually too phased about watching that body shot back. Like, I know I should have done that tonight. Is that how this week's been?
Yeah, kind of, if I'm honest. But same, like, no disrespect to Jack, as he's a good bloke, but I know I'm levels above Jack. The only thing with him, he's a very, 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 very tough man. So to get the stoppage I did with him was like rather impressive. Like, not to put smoke up my own ass, but he was good. With this one, like, I knew I was gonna. It was almost like in my head, I was like, Rio, like, it's a lose-lose situation. And you box shit, you're gonna look a bit of a prat, but you're gonna get the stoppage you did. It ain't too much to be like gassed about. So I'm happy, but it is what it is.
Mate, I like it. There's something to be said about someone who's level-headed after getting a nice stoppage win.
If anything, I'm more happy with the fact that I was listening.
You were listening to the corner throughout the fight.
Yeah. Like, things have ticked in my brain the last few.
Have you had moments then as a professional where perhaps, I don't know if you don't want to say you switching off, but perhaps where you've noticed that you're not listening to the corner like you should be?
Most definitely. Not that I always try to listen to Grant. Like, if Grant says jump, I'm asking how high. So it's not necessarily that I'm trying my best not to listen to him. It's just sometimes you get in the heat of the moment and you think you're calm, cool, calm and collected, but you need to recognise the voice is what you actually need to recognise, and that's Grant, and here and there, Pearce and Dalton and whoever the correct voices from the gym are. So yeah, like, all in all, I'm very happy with the fact I listened, and things what we've been working on in the gym worked in the fight. Not necessarily for the opponent, but for things that I need to rectify within myself. Little things, like, even when I was southpaw, I remember like 2 weeks ago, Mick was saying, when you're southpaw, you need to throw your lead hand a lot more. Like, you've got a very good lead hand, but you're too busy like marking with it and trying to set up your backhand. So things like that were in my brain. Like, oh, okay, I need to touch the jab more, and screw it. And so all in all, I was very happy with the fact I listened.
Yeah, mate, good night at the office. What you said in the press conference is that you're a bit frustrated about how 2024 has gone. Was it April, the Jack Martin fight?
Yeah.
So you fought twice this year. I take it you're not going to fight before the end of the year, right?
No.
Right. So 2 fights this year. How do you actually look back on 2024 as a whole? Not just time in the ring, but time in the gym, time as a fighter, building your profile. How do you see the whole of 2024 now?
In the meantime, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I feel like, well, 2 performances have been rather good, but when I'm hearing in April that I could be headlining the back end of the year in the Next Gen show, and then to the back end of the year I'm struggling to like get a solid date, it's rather frustrating. Obviously, politics and things outside of the ring what aren't going my way. So things outside of just personal life, that things what aren't going my way. So all in all, I think the thing I've learned the most is patience and understanding when to bite your tongue and move forward, and sometimes think with motion, not emotion. And yeah, just knowing when to just crack on and not bite every time something happens, regardless of what the situation is. So at the time, very frustrating. But I think I'll look back at it as in hindsight and be like, thank God that happened, because this will be the lessons I needed to move on to the next level as a little superstar.
You talk about biting your tongue. Is there a few things you feel like you want to get off your chest?
I mean, it depends what you want to ask me.
Well, you mentioned at the press conference that you thought you were going to have a date late in November, and certain reasons meant that you couldn't, and obviously you're fighting tonight. Any backstory, any story?
Do the math.
Well, I can do the math, but you're the man who must have the answers to the equation.
If you know, you know. Attention is currency, and someone will die over attention, so I ain't going to give it.
Yeah. What fight do you want next?
It is what it is, ain't it? If I'm honest with you, look, the way I look at it, I'm Junaid Bostan. I'm talking about fucking myself in third person. I'm right big-headed twat. Don't mean it like that, but in the sense of I'm so focused on myself and where I want to get. I don't care who it is. Does that make sense? Yeah. My ambitions in boxing, don't get me wrong, the English, these international titles, things of that nature, they really are good titles. But for me, I've always wanted 2 titles in boxing, which is a British title and a world title. By the end of 2025, I pray to God that I've got the British title, regardless who I fight in that time. So that's my ambition, and God willing, it'll come off.
I know, again, going back to the press conference, a man you said you won't speak bad of. I just see him out there, Ishmael Davis. That fight's had a little bit of building. With a little bit more, that is one of the sexiest British clashes, and maybe one of the most brutal British clashes that we can get early next year. You and Ish, a little bit of a narrative as well. Surely that's one to be made.
Of course, keep it building. Keep it building. Ish is 29 years of age. Yes, he's young. Well, he's green, if that makes in the sense of the amount of fights he's had. However, he's 29. He's had a very good performance against Josh Kelly on 6 days' notice. I'll give him credit. That weren't the best Ish in that ring. Of course not. He's had 6
Which
days.
says a lot.
He's had 6 days' notice. He's had 6 days' notice, and he nearly got my man out of there in the last round. He had a good fight against Troy Williamson. Troy, who I know someone very well. He beat Troy, and then I'm assuming he's mandatory for the British. So, do you understand my point? Like, how can you disagree with him when we're saying he's further on than the English title? I can't really disagree with him. End of the day, in my head, I want the British title by the end of next year. If the English is a milestone, what I'm going to get, so be it. I'd happily have the English. Love it. Do you know what I mean? It'd be very good to bring back. Of course, I'm wearing the black and red for my granddad. He was part of the Cheshire Regiment, served as a sergeant for some years. So me having the English title, I was always going to save this for the English title, but it was very fitting as the fact that it's near Remembrance Day. My grandfather passed on the 29th of October. I'm in Manchester, so it was very fitting. So it'd be very good just to have an English title, but all in all, British world title.
Yeah. Put it this way, whatever it is, titles are going to be around your waist and over your shoulder next year.
Inshallah, I pray to God, I really do. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to stick on the fight with this just because it's such a brilliant talking point and, like I said, a brilliant fight. How does that fight play out? And I know you're going to tell me you're going to win the fight, but stylistically, what would we get between you two, do you think?
A good fight. Me on top, but a very good fight.
Moments where I can imagine you both plant your feet and go, let's fucking have this.
Who knows, maybe. I might do. I mean, not to be rude to Ish, but I do think I hit hard on him, so I think I'll be sweet there. Do you get what I'm saying? But listen, Ish is a good guy. Can't say a bad word about him. It is what it is. He's a man's man. I'm a man's man. So yeah.
Mate, it works. I'm going to end by saying
people
one thing.
always want to create a stir. This is the thing. I feel like I'm very misunderstood because I'm a bit of a gobshite when I want to be. Yeah, people assume that I'm going to talk shit to everyone. Like, my man couldn't speak a word of English. Why on earth am I going to speak shit to him? I got a mic put on me and I'm like, bro, the guy can't speak a word of English. Like,
Are you talking about the mic that you got put on for the weigh-in face to face?
Like, I'm thinking, he don't speak no word of English. What
was any word actually said?
Nah, I just went, breathe. You get what I'm saying? What do you want me to call? Puta. What? Because that's the only word. That's the only word I fucking know. Do you know what I mean? He's not done nothing to be a puta. Do you know what I mean? So really, like, what am I gonna fucking do? Do you know what I mean? He's sweet. You know what I mean? I don't know my man. He don't know me. So for me, it's...
Not going to flip it like Conor. You're not going to flip it like Conor Ben and start speaking Argentinian.
No. Well, I can't speak Spanish. I got kicked out of it. Do you know what I mean? So,
I don't know why. I'm not surprised.
I got put into garden instead. I swear to God. I say garden. I was dug up bare shit. You know, so they could actually plant the pots. But what was I saying now? Yeah, like even with Jack Martin, like I tried to go about that accordingly and respect, and I still feel like I did, but.
He's a nice bloke.
But he's a very nice bloke, but he acted that character speaking. So that moment, I just sided man. I'm like, yo, now I've got to tell my man what's what. Because you ain't going to win with me with a gift of the gab, are you? So I had to speak some part of that. But then the narrative gets put out like I've talked shit to him, but he initiated it. So, yeah, big shout out to Jack Martin as well, by the way.
I'm going to say I'm relishing the day when there's a press conference where someone looks across the table and goes, fuck you, to Junaid Bostan. Because I tell you what, it's going to be a funny and pretty entertaining 5 or 10 minutes at the press conference.
Do you know what, though?
I feel like it's going to be an American.
Well, it's already happened.
Oh, yeah, it has.
Gordy Russ, absolute fool of everything. He got dealt with before I even got in the ring with him. And I look like a crackhead as well. So that just shows you how shit he is. Still embarrassed by that. Bad.
Hey mate, all in the past. I'm going to end by saying one thing actually. You're holding a stomping ground mic, and we always laugh about this. The first time you met Charlie, and obviously we'd met before, but we was whipping round in your Corsa.
Yeah, come on.
Sheffield.
I didn't even turn pro. I think it was like, I must have been 18 or 19. That
Was it like a fight zone show?
It was a fight zone, so it was in a car park round the corner from my gym, and obviously me and you know each other rather well. Oh my God, where is Parsons? Is Parsons about?
He's left.
Nah, so Parsons weren't even a big thing. Like, Oscar was the guy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Oscar was the mate. Me and Oscar were cool, yeah. Parsons, I didn't know. So it was like, yo, do you need a lift back to the hotel? And he was like, yeah, go on, sweet. I remember, yeah. Oscar got in the front seat. And he was going, yo, what's your name? And he's like, Charlie, but people call me Parsons. All right, sweet. My name's Junaid, yeah. Got talking away. Got each other's Instagrams, yeah. Jobs are good, but yeah, that was before he even got big.
See, nowadays he'd have ditched you and got a private jet back to the hotel.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, fuck Junaid, levels. Do you know what I mean? Got to his head.